Can anyone please put a message in chat box? Okay. Okay, thank you, Pawan. So today concept is about OOPS. OOPS means object-oriented programming in Python. So this is the we already know about the Python is an object-oriented programming language. So what does it meant by? Can anyone like till now may someone get some knowledge about this Python, right? Oops concept. So if anyone know, can anyone chat in the chat box? Object oriented program. What is about object oriented program? Platform independent. Okay. It deals with the real world entities like class object. Yes. Yeah. Yes, I am getting so many replies. Thank you for your replies. So till now you got to know the about some functions, right? How we will write functions and how we'll reuse that functions code. So here we gonna go with a new concept like object oriented programming. Here we will use the class and objects. Like we will write the whole code using the by defining classes and objects. So what is the use of these object oriented programming is about is, so through that uh, where the complexity will reduce and for writing any code we need to reduce the complexity. Like if we use if else functions, we will get a so much complexity while we are running, like it will take so much time for running. So for reducing the time complexity and reusability, we will use this object oriented programming. So today we got to know about the uh, introduction about the object-oriented programming and difference between the object and procedural-oriented programming. And we will know about the classes and objects and object-oriented programming methodologies like inheritance, polymorphism, and encapsulation, abstraction. These are the topics which we are going to discuss in OOPS concept. So like introduction about object oriented programming, like it is a one way of programming, like as already I said, we can write the programming using functions or if else, right, like we can use that functions and statements for control statements for writing any program. But uh, it is one approach for creating neat and reusable code instead of using large code. Like using these objects and classes, we can reduce that complexity and we can represent the data in the neat form. So like as you already know about the functions and all this, these programming comes under the procedural oriented programming, and whatever the classes and objects we are using in the program, this comes under the object oriented programming. The difference between both the programming is procedural, the you can write the programming using functions, right? So in this function it is less secure, the security will be reduced, will be less. And in coming to the object oriented programming, here we are using access modifiers like public, private, and protected. Like when we defining any class, we will write some code here, and we will using a public, private, protected, and modifiers. Using these modifiers, we can give access to the access of variables to only for limited users. Like if we use public access specifier, we can use any give access to anyone to access that variable, and if we use private, it will be useful in that function only. Like we have access modifiers in this object oriented programming. That's why it is more secure when compared to the procedural oriented programming. And it will support inheritance, like we can define multiple classes, and we can extract the properties of one class to another classes. Like um, we have two classes, like two classes like class parent and child. Like we can extract the properties of a parent to the child. So like that we can inherit that variables or functions from that classes. So in what is the disadvantages of procedural oriented programming is, while we are writing the code in functions, we cannot inherit that variables or anything from that functions to another functions. It doesn't transform the variable values from one function to another functions. But in OOPS concept, we can extract the properties from one class to another class. But in procedural oriented programming, it doesn't possible. So these are the differences between procedural oriented and object oriented programming. And next, so coming to the classes and object. What is meant by class? What is meant by class? Can I get some answers about the class? What is meant by class? So in a general opinion, what is just meant by class? You can chart in chat boxes. Like general opinion, like when we listen about a word class, what will you think about? Collection of objects. Yes, Jyotikumar. Class refers to entire collection. Yes. Yes, thank you for your replies. Like, what is meant by class is like, if you take our class, what is a class? It is a group of members, or it is a group of members who gathered. Like it is like coming to the programming language, it is a collection of objects. Like um, the the same behavior of different objects will be gathered into a one group. So like that, we will call it as class. Class is a collection of objects, or you can say it is a blueprint of objects defining common attributes and behavior. Like that objects will contain the same attributes or same behavior. So class is defined how we will write the while writing in a program. How we will use the class. Like we have a keyword like class. So here, if we can see, we for defining any class, for like first we will start with the class keyword. Like for functions, we will start with the def keyword, right? So for writing programming using class on the objects, we will use the keyword class. So for defining any class, we will use the class keyword, and this is the class name and parenthesis and a column. So in this parenthesis, you can pass the any parameters. So this is the syntax of for defining any class. Here class 1 is the name of the class and class is a keyword. So now we can see one example in object oriented programming, like using class and objects, how we will write a program. Like in functions, everyone will know, like same like functions, but here we will use classes and objects. Like here, if you can see, class is a keyword and employee is a class name, and here parenthesis and column. This is one full class. Here in that we have an we have function inside the class. Here in that parenthesis, we can have name, age, id, salary as a parameters. Like this is all about the one person name. Like these are the attribute. Like if you take any person, their name or age or idea or salary, these are the attributes of that person. These are all things are belongings to the same person. Like these are the attributes. And like here, why we use self is an instance of class. Like in classes we will use the self keyword for accessing the variables in that functions. And here we will assigning the each value to the object variables. Self dot name equal to name and self dot age equal to like whatever the parameters we are sending to the functions, we will assigning that values to against to the variables. And here emp1 equal to employee of Harshit 22,124. So here, what is an object? Object can be created by using class name. Like here, we will use class name. By using class name, we will create an object. Like here, emp1 is an object and employee is in class name. And here we are sending some data through the class. So we can create multiple objects through one class that can be named anything. So we can create multiple objects and we can send multiple data as a parameters. And here they created two objects, emp1 and emp2, for the same class employee, and they are sending different data. So here he is printing print emp1 dot underscore dictionary. Like here emp1 means first object, and here the data sending is Harshit 22,01234. So can anyone guess the what is the output of this program? Can anyone guess? Just short. Yeah, the data which is sended through the emp1 object like Harshit 22,01234. This data will be printed in the form of dictionaries. Like in the form of dictionary, we can get this data as output. So like this is a sample program which contains classes and object. Like this is a sample code. Today, just we're gonna discuss just what is about the topic. Tomorrow maybe we can get clarity about the coding part. So just today I am giving a small introduction about these topics. This is a sample program. I think everyone understood. If anyone have any doubts, you can raise hands up to here. After classes and objects, if anyone have any questions, you can raise. Okay, Nirmala, now is it clear? Is my voice is clear? But why we use self? Like in classes, while we writing in a program, um, def underscore initiate and parenthesis of self, and we are sending some parameter. So here the self is a common keyword for any function, and the parameters may be one or two or three, that may be increased, but keyword is here predefined. Like using that self, we can storing that data to the variable, like here name, age, salary or the variables. So using that keyword, the data will be stored into that variable. So like in these class in functions, while using classes, we will write like this using self keyword. I hope your doubt is clear. Other than that, anyone have any doubts till now? Okay, let me continue. So up to now, we will know about the object-oriented programming, and the classes and objects is a part of object-oriented programming. And next, we're gonna discuss about object-oriented programming methodologies. So we have some methodologies, like we have different types of methodologies in this programming, like inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, abstraction. Using these methodologies, we can write the programming based on the problem or situation. Like first one, inheritance. Inheritance, uh, like every time you have a talking in between yours, like you will be like your father or mother, you will be like your grandfather, like some face expressions are some will be matched between you and your father. Like this is what happened here is some of the um, features of your father are extracting to you. Like here inheritance concept came, like as I said before, we can extract the one class properties to the another class. So we can that data from one class to another class, we can change, we can extract that features or properties. So inheriting a transfer of characters from parent to child class without any modification. The data will not be changed, but the characteristics or properties will be transferred from one class to another class in inheritance. So the new class, what we have two classes. One is the parent class and the another one is child class. Whatever the new class is there, that is called as derived class or child class, and then from which is derived, it is called parent class or base class. Like the properties which we are expecting from the main class, which is called as a parent class or base class, and the below class which we are using the extracted properties, that class is called as child class or derived class. So we have these names for two classes. Like if you can see here, we have different types of inheritance, like single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, multiple inheritance. Like single inheritance means we can extract one class properties to another class. Only to in between two classes only we are extracting the properties. In multi-level inheritance, we can extract the properties from multiple classes. Like from class A to class B, properties will be extracted, and from the properties which are having class B will be used in the class C. Like we can extract the multiple inheritances and hierarchical inheritance. Like we have three classes, and from one class only, from one class we are extracting properties for both classes, like multiple inheritance. Like here, one class using multiple parent class properties. Like these are the types of inheritance based on the problem. We will use this inheritance, which class of inheritance we need to use. And then Single level inheritance. Single level inheritance enables a derived class to inherit transfer from a single parent class. Like here, the properties will be extracted derived from the single parent class. Only one class properties only we will extract. This is sample programming. Like here, employee one is a main class and child employee is a child class. Child class. So here, parent class employee one name in the child class. Like here, second class name is child employee. In the parenthesis, we are using employee one. Like we are extracting the properties of employee one class using employee one prop. We will use employee one properties in the child class. Like if this will like employee one is a parent class and child employee is a child class, we will using these name age salary in the second class. Like that we will write the programs. And then multi-level inheritance. Multi-level inheritance means inheritance from an immediate parent class, which in turn inheritance properties from his parent class. Like as you can see in the diagram, here three classes, class B extracting the properties from class A and class A extracting the properties from class B. So for class B, class A is a parent class, and for class C, class B is a parent class. So like for every extracting properties, the classes will be changed into parent class and child class. So this is a sample code. And then hierarchical inheritance. Like here, more than one derived class to inherit from a parent class. From parent class, we can inherit the properties and the multiple level inheritance. Here also same. From two classes, we will inherit from two different classes. We can inherit the properties of that both classes to the child class. Like this. So here employee one is a parent class and employee two is a another parent class and child employee is a child class. Here we are inheriting the properties of employee one class and employee two class. So from both the parent class properties we are using in child class. Like that we can access the properties of one classes. This is all about the inheritance. In inheritance, we have four types of inheritance: single, multi-level, multiple, and hierarchical. So that is about that. And coming to the another topic, polymorphism. Polymorphism means like we have locations, right? GPS location, we will have maps app. So when we don't know about the location of home or any place, we will just enter our location name and we will search for the direction. So it will show the so many directions in the map. It will show the so many directions in the map, and we will choose the best one, which is short and which is fastly we can reach to the that location. So for one destination, if we have one place, the source place, and we need to go to the other place, that is a destination place. From source to destination, in maps we can see the different directions. So we have many directions will be shown in the maps. So like that, for going to the one place to the another place, we have so many forms. Like polymorphism means poly means many, morphism means forms. Like we have so many forms for defining one code or one sentences. So in programming point of view, this is called polymorphism. It is one type of methodology, as I already know. It is a property of an which allows it to multiple forms. Like we can write the one same code into multiple forms. For polymorphism, we have two types of polymorphism: compile time polymorphism and then runtime polymorphism. So compile time polymorphism, also called as static polymorphism, which gets resolved during the compilation time of the program. One common example is method overloading. So compile time polymorphism, like uh, it will just while compiling, it will just go to the based on the name of it. Just first I will let you know about the method overloading and method overriding so that you will get clarity about it. Like we will consider as a method overloading is a compile time polymorphism and method overriding is a runtime polymorphism. What is meant by method overloading? Method overloading is nothing but we have same function. We have one function is defined. For a function, we can send multiple arguments like that, maybe one or two or three or four. It is known as the method overloading. Like one function name, we are sending multiple arguments for any number of arguments. Like it is accessing and allowing. Like one function name, we are sending multiple arguments. And another one like method overriding. Method overriding means here, here the parameters are fixed and the method names will be different. Like the parameters will be sent as the same, but we can perform two different operations in method overriding. Like that polymorphism will be run. Polymorphism means one can be write in many fonts. One can be write in many fonts. Like we will write a function that can be used in many ways, like many arguments. Like it will be work for one argument and it will be work for two arguments and it will be work for 10 arguments. Like that polymorphism will be done. And abstraction, like when we booking a ticket from book my show using net banking or any other process, you don't know the procedure of how the pin is generated and how the verification is like uh, what is an abstraction in simple words means this is the binding of data. Like we will didn't know about the data which is happened or which is going into the in actions. Like when we booking any tickets or anything, the pin will be generated automatically and the verification will be completed. Like the data will be known only to the admin. So this is the data will be not sent to the any other users. Like this, the data will be stored somewhere and it will be held. Like that, how we will use the abstraction in our programming. Like so we have different types of classes, right? So we have different types of variables and we have different types of data. So one class have one data and the another one class has another data. So this data cannot be seen or used by the another class. Like that we can hide that data for not using by another class. Like that we will use this abstraction in our programming. So this is about the three topics in inheritance, encapsulation, and abstraction. Till now, anyone have any doubts? I will share. So anyone have any doubts? If anyone have any doubts, please raise hands. So we have one question like when we use the polymorphism concept mostly, like polymorphism when we use, like as I said earlier, uh, we have one functional class which will allow or use for many programmings. Like uh, we have a function program, it needs to accept any data or any number of arguments. So for that application or any building, we will use that program. And we have one more question like instance and object. What is the difference between instance and object? So here in OOPS, from class object will be derived and from object instance will be derived. So the object is what is an object? Object is an actual thing which is derived from the class. So and what is an instance? Instant is an virtual copy. Like it is not exactly built by the class. It is an virtual copy. We can we can write as a we can write further. Like just like what is the main difference between like object mainly refers to the like class. It will directly it will direct connection between the per class, but instant is just as a reference. We will use that instances just for an instance, just for a reference to the object. We will use instances. So apart from that, anyone have any doubts? So coming to the encapsulation, it is also like the same as abstraction. It will also hides the data, and for that we will use this encapsulation. Encapsulation also used to hide some data, and it is only used to access only some variables. Like we are seen previously, like we have private, public, and protected access. Using that, we will hide this data, and we can allow to the only some people can use that variables in that program. So this is about the object oriented programming. Someone asked about the disadvantages of polymorphism. So now I just briefed about some things about the topics, just small introduction about these topics. So I am giving some task to you all is, so we have different methodologies here, right? In OOPS concept, we have different methodologies. So today you gonna go through these topics and these topics, and you can write them. What is the disadvantages and advantages, and what are the applications of every methodology, like where can use this methodology and why we need to use that methodology. Like if you write these points, you can use this methodologies while writing programming is while writing programming that will be help to use, like which methodology we need to use for which problem. So more someone is here, so I am more on. So I am giving task to you for finding these advantages, disadvantages, and the application where we use these source concept methodologies, and how we will use this in programming. So this is the task for this. I hope everyone will do and get some knowledge from these about these topics. And then next we will go to the another concept, exception handling. It is a small concept. So we will discuss with that topic. So I will share my screen. So now we will gonna discuss about what is exceptions and exception handling, try and except, nested try black, and handling multiple exceptions, raising expression, finally block user defined exceptions. Now I will ask one question. Can anyone know about these exception handling or exceptions? Like why will use and why these exceptions will be used in Python, is introduced in Python. Yes, handling errors. For handling errors, we will use these exceptions. Yes, we got the answer. So we will continue the topic. So exceptions, like why we use exception means, so we are using control statements, if else and else statements. So the thing is like, if in the if condition, if it is satisfied, we will go to that code inside the if block, or else it will go to the another block and it will continue till now the else block. So it will move like, if it is not satisfied in one condition, it will go to the another condition and will check. But in some programmings we have, the user will enter some inputs like 5 by 0 or some other things, like any number cannot be divisible by 0. So here there will be some error will be raised if an enter, like for dividing, if we write a programming in if else, we will write a code for division, of two numbers, for division of three numbers. Like how we will write, we will take the input of two variables and we will divide that, like if you take first variable as a and second variable as b, we will divide that two variables like a divided by b, and we will store that remainder in, we will print that remainder. So it will only work for some cases. But when we user gives an input like first input as an 5 and second input as an 0, it doesn't work. It will show some errors in our code. So for that errors reducing, they gave with some topic like exceptions. So when we're writing a program, we more and often than encountering errors like division error, value error, we will get so many errors. Error caused by not following the exact structure of the language is called syntax error, parsing error, and we will get like this so many errors like file not open errors, like zero. If I just now I given some example like 5 by 0, 0 is not, 5 is not divided by divided with 0, right? So here we will get zero division error. Whenever these type of runtime error occurs, Python creates an exception object. Like the program will doesn't run and the program will be stopped, and it will show some error exceptions. So if it is not handled properly, it prints a traceback to that error along with some details about why that error occurred. So it will not 5 divided by 0, it will not get some reminder. So while in that situation, it will give some traceback like here in this particular line, it is not divisible by 0. So this error, zero division error will come. Like it's some explanation about the error it will give. So for reducing that errors, like here I'll show an example. Here is the example which I tell. Here we will take 5 as an first input and 0 as second input. If we print the result by a divided by b, so here 0 is not divided, 5 is not divided by 0. So here we will getting 0 division errors, like division by 0 is not possible. So this type of tracebacks will be come when we run the Python programming. So to reduce that errors, we have exception handling techniques. Like we have try or except statements. Like the try block contains the codes that might be throw an exception. If that exception occurs, the code in the try block stops being executed and the code in except block is executed. Like in exception handling, we have two types of syntaxes. Like if else, we have try except. Whatever the code which is in the try block, if it is not possible to execute that code, it will automatically go to the except block. So the code which is in the except block will be executed. If the code which is in try block is executed, the except block will not be executed. So if that try block is don't work, except block will be works. Like here, if you can see example, we will take first number and second number. In try block, we are dividing the number and printing the result. So, and in except we have exception handler at the end of the program. Like it will the program will run for all cases. Like if it is not able to run the not able to divide it, then it will go to the except block and it will print exception handler. Like these exception will be handled, it giving some output. Like whenever the program is done, it is not show the errors, it will give at least some output, so that the user can know that our we are giving some wrong input. And then we have multiple nested try blocks. Like we can write the multiple try blocks in one try block. Like here try, and here again we have try except block. So when we have multiple conditions, we can use nested try block. A try statement can have multiple different except blocks to handle different exceptions. Like for one try means just try, and if it is not works, go to the another except block. Like we have different types of errors. Like so in except we for this try block we can write multiple except blocks. Like if we have so many errors like value error, zero division error, syntax error, file not found. So for which error, for based on the error, it will print the output. Like for a value error, we will print like invalid input. For zero division error, like we will not divide it by the zero. Like we can send the different messages to the user so that they can know that we are giving wrong input or we are giving invalid input, so that the user can send again the correct input. Like here we can define the values in the except block. Like if we will get the value error, it will print invalid input, and if we will get the zero division error, we will get the divided by zero. When will the except block will execute? Only when the try block code doesn't able to execute the code or handle the code, then only we will go to the except block. So based on the handle or traceback error, the except block will be executed. So for one try block, we can write multiple except blocks. So here we have multiple program using multiple except blocks. And we have one more thing, like multiple exceptions can also be put into a single except blocks using parentheses to have the except block handle all them. Like in one except block, we can write multiple to handle multiple exceptions. Like in one except block only, we can handle multiple exceptions. How now we can say, like here in before for each error we write a different except block, but here we have one try block and the except block we have two types of errors, like value error, type error. For both, we are giving invalid input errors. So when we getting these type of errors, this will belongs to the same, so that we are giving one print statement as output. Like this is a one example for that program. Try accept. So when we work on some examples, it will more about that. And we have some one another thing, like finally. Finally, when we'll use the finally, like in if elif control statements, we have if elif, and then we can write multiple elifs, and finally we can write else. Like that, we have finally statement here. So to ensure some code runs no matter what errors, we can use a final statement. The final statement is placed at the bottom of the try except statement. Code within a final statement always runs after execution of the code in the try and possible in except block. Like final statement, like we have try except and final blocks. But after executing these try except blocks, whatever the code which is in the final block or what are the print statements which are in the final block, they will be must be printed when we run the program. So here we have try except finally. So here same dividing the two numbers. If it will execute, the try block will execute it, then it will go to the final block, and this will print like this code will run no matter what. Like this print statement will be like there might be any output which is in the code, like there might be try code will be execute or except code will except block will be execute, but final block will be definitely will be printed. So in try or accepted, either of the one will be executed, but finally will definitely execute, will be execute that block. So these are the one more syntax: try except finally. So in exception handling, these are the statements we will get: try except. And we have some more concept like rising expression exceptions. So in exception handling, up to um, these up to try except finally. And we have one more thing like catch also one of the expression block. It will also useful. So for sample programs we can use try except finally. So these three can be useful for handling errors in exception handling. So this is all about the exception handling. And go through the some of the concept about the exception handling, and write some programs using the exception handling for different programs, so that you can get clarity about that topic. So when we listen, we can forget in just 5 minutes or 10 minutes. But when we work on that thing, we will never forget. So that work for on that. So in any doubts in exception handling, now you can rise. Anyone? Now you can rise any if you have any doubts. So if you're clear with the both topics, just put a message like it is cleared about the both topics. Tomorrow maybe you will get know about the some coding part about these topics. Like in Whoops context, some coding part sample programs will be explained, and in except block, maybe you will get some coding part, how we will write the simple programs and how we'll use these methodologies and all these about. So up to 8:40 we will wait. If anyone have any questions, we can start. If you're clear with the both topics, please just put a message cleared. just once go through about these topics and write just simple programmings and get to know go about the application or usage part of these applications. So if you know about the where we can use these methodologies or where you can use this concept so that you can use in any applications or anything, so that when we go for any interviews or anything we can clearly can say about these things. So these are the concept. This is I developed. This is the things which I used in my applications. Like you can say about. So get knowledge about the usage part and the application part. Okay, I think no one have any doubts. I hope it is clear to everyone. So if you have any doubts, if anyone have a number, you can contact. Or if you can don't know, tomorrow you maybe have session, right? You can ask in that session if you have any doubts, so that they will clear about that. So this is all about today's topics. Today we will discuss about the OOPS concept. In OOPS concept, we will discuss about class, objects, and inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, and encapsulation. And we also discussed about the another concept, which is an exception handling. So this is the things which we are done. I hope it is clear to everyone. So thank you so much for your time and for giving full interest and for giving responses also.
Thank you, Maharashtra. Thank you for joining and thank you for your time. And thank you everyone for joining. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Maharashtra, you can conclude the session.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.